Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
Tati.
I'm Megan. I'm Lauren.
I'm Matt.
I'm Mimi.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Petey.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of things on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. I hope you all have been well. We've had a lot of updates here on the farm recently. Not only have we got started with seeding, as you've seen from previous episodes, but we've also had the opportunity to do a lot of planting. I'll be able to show you how much has been going on with planting later on, but right now we're getting the animals taken care of. And actually, there's been a lot of updates with the animals too. How have the animals been today?
They're doing really good.
Well, that's nice to hear. And what have you been up to today?
Planting plants, filling pots.
Planting plants and filling pots. Sounds like a busy day. What's happening?
Nothing.
You're trying to buy stuff at auction? Oh boy. Now we move down to greenhouse number 6, where we've actually added a lot. We had a lot of calves in here before, but then we moved them into greenhouse number 5. And now we're back to having a lot of calves in here. And we just got finished with feeding time. Just about all of them had drank their milk down. This one's one of my favorites. Look how big this one. This is a little baby. It's a big baby.
I think Daniel named that one Frank. I'd like to introduce everybody to Frank. That's Frank.
I just walked out of greenhouse number 6 and I'm starting to see flurries coming down. We dealt with a small cold front that came through earlier in the week, and now we're dealing with a larger cold front that's supposed to drop some pretty good snow. Whatever they tell us never really seems to come about, so I'm excited to see how much we get, but hopefully it's not too bad. I know some people aren't going to be too excited about the snow, but it's still earlier in the year. We can have some snow. When it starts to get closer to planting time, that's when we don't like to see the snow. Now we're moving on to what this video is going to be mostly about, and that's the greenhouses. Not too long ago, we worked on seeding a lot. I think we did over 30,000 plants, which 30,000 is a big number by itself. But when you start talking about plants, that's a bigger number. Maybe I won't say it's a bigger number, but it's a number that starts to grow. Well, it's like a different world in here. It's cold outside, but happily, we're reading 72. And that brings us over to our trays of seedlings. And as you can see, we've got some beautiful germination rates. Since I'm gonna be in here, I'm taking this sweatshirt off. The reason why I brought you up into the germination greenhouse is to share with you what we look for when our seeds start to sprout. Sadly, many people think when it comes to starting seeds, it's as simple as just dropping it in the soil and covering it, which it could be that simple, but if we're doing that professionally, well, there's a few more steps involved, as you've already seen. Underneath the surface and inside the seed, there's so much that happens from the time that you cover it with soil. It's almost mind-blowing. But we can't do too much with that seed. That seed's gonna grow if it's gonna grow, but there are some things we can do to help encourage it. For those that have never seen my videos before, or you only watch them occasionally, this is called a germination greenhouse. The greenhouse is specifically designed to help seeds germinate. This greenhouse is on the smaller side, so it helps us to keep the temperatures at our desired temperature. And we also have little tools inside our greenhouse that are very important. For one, we have our water heater at the top of the greenhouse that helps to heat all of our tables. They're saying heated tables? What? Underneath these wire tables, there are little black tubes, and in these black tubes is the water that's heated. So after we get our seeds put into the soil, we lay down a sheet of plastic, and then we take our trays and set them on the heated table. Now the plastic does two things. One thing is that it helps to evenly distribute the warmth that is being brought from underneath. And the second thing, it just helps to keep stuff clean. When you're working with soil all the time, things can get dirty. So any little help that you can get in that avenue, we'll take it. Some of you may be wondering, do I really need a heating table? No, not necessarily. But you have to remember, we're looking for the most efficient and best germination rates that we can get. You have to remember, even though this is fun, I'm not just doing it for fun. This is work. And if we can get the best germination rates, and if we can get the most efficiency out of our plants, well, then we're gonna make more money. But as we mentioned before, you don't necessarily need the heated tables, but what they do is help to encourage these plants to start germinating. Now, a lot of times when people think about germination, they're saying, hey, it's 75, 80 degrees out today. those plants should be growing fine. But with seedlings, we're not looking for a warmer air temperature, we're looking for a warmer ground temperature. So with the heated table doing its job, that allows us to make sure that our seeds get the best start because our soil is at the desired temperature. And that desired temperature can change depending on what crop, what seed that you're putting into the soil. There's a lot of science behind this. The next part of this process is an important one and one that we need to follow closely. For example, on this tray, as you can see, some of the seeds have sprouted through, but not all of them are up. When we have about 50 to 60% of the seeds sprouting, that means it comes off of the heated table. These trays will not stay on the heated table for much longer. As you can see, we're getting closer to that 50 to 60% range, but this tray, for example, there's not much coming up. But once those seeds start to shoot up, we want to get them off the heated tables for good reasons. The heated tables and the warm temperatures will actually cause those sprouts to start shooting taller and taller, leaving them very spindly. Once we start seeing our desired germination rates, we then move the plants over to our middle table, giving them an opportunity to thicken up. If we would have left this impatient on that table, they would be taller, but they would be thinner. And you're right, it doesn't change too much, but as these plants start to get a little larger, we start to handle them more. And if they're tougher and thicker plants, well, they don't break as easy. So we like to get them off the heat. So on our heated table, we do still have some flowers. We have some violas, petunias, and then we even have some parsley, some curly and flat leaf parsley. And then our other seeds that have germinated quite well, we have flowers over here. There's some Dusty Miller, there's pansies, violas. These beautiful trays with the wider leaves, these are called impatiens, beautiful plants. Some more violas, some more impatiens, and then we even have more flowers up near the top. If you think back to that previous video that we've done, the amount of work that went into seeding all of this, it was quite a bit. We had to fill the trays, we had to seed them, water them, take care of them. But once you start to see green popping up, it just makes you feel good. I can't really explain it other than it just makes you feel good. Oh yes, when we are germinating seeds, and we have them on the plastic on the heated table, we will take another sheet of plastic and come over to the top at night. What that does is it locks in that warmth, it locks in that moisture throughout the evening, and that really helps out our seedlings. But if the sun comes out for any moment, we have to take that plastic off quickly because it will actually cook and could possibly kill our plants. And believe me, you don't want to be the guy that left the plastic on and killed the tomato plants, and then you're called, hey, there's a guy that killed the tomato plants. Not that it's happened to me, but it's happened to other people, and you just don't want to be that guy. One final thing I'd like to mention before we move on to the next plants. Right here is something that's very important. We have our fertilizer injector. We have our fertilizer in this bucket. Every time that we water our seedlings, we are adding a dose of fertilizer. For those that may be curious, or you do a lot of gardening or starting your own seeds, the type of fertilizer we're using is a 13-2-13. This is the last thing I wanted to show in our greenhouse. These are our onions and leeks that we seeded in one of our previous videos. You'll probably remember we had to seed these by hand because we couldn't use the seeder. These seeds were coated. But I think I did an okay job putting the seeds on here. Germination rates aren't usually too big of an issue when it comes to onions and leeks, but if we were concerned for any moment, we can put that concern to bed. And some of you may be wondering, how can you tell the difference between the onions and the leeks? Thankfully, we put a sticker on all of them, but you can just see from the coloration and the size which is which. These are the leeks over here. And on this side, we have our onions. I just thought that was something really cool. We had a really busy week, and I didn't get too much opportunity to get up into the germination greenhouse. Before I leave though, I'd just like to mention one thing. If you do have any questions about the germination greenhouse or anything in here, let me know down in the comments. We don't talk about this, but we don't have a door handle. Now Dad's gonna be like, we need to fix the door handle. Andrew's talking about it. What are you doing with all those gummy bears?
I got hungry.
What'd you say?
Daddy.
Hey! Oh, hi Callie. There is a big difference from being in the greenhouse and being outside right now. But we're heading down to the large greenhouse. Oh my, what has happened here? Well, if it's not obvious, we got our plant shipment in. Now, some of you may be thinking, Veggie Boys, I thought you started everything from seed. Now, there's a very good reason why we can't start all of this from seed. All of these here are actually rooted cuttings. So what they'll do is they'll take a plant, they'll trim it, and then take the parts that they trimmed off, dip them in some rooting powder, and put them in the soil. And that's how you get your cutting. So all of these flowers here are cuttings that you see, all of these plants. If we could start it all from seed, we would, but we can't, like legally. There's a lot that goes into it. Since our plants have come in, there's a lot that has taken place. You may remember all of the trays that we filled up with soil. Well, it looks a little bit different in here now. We still do have some trays that are filled up with soil, but it won't be for long. In the upcoming weeks and days, there's gonna be a lot of transplanting going on. There's gonna be a lot of seeding. More than you can even wrap your head around. And this greenhouse we're in will be filled top to bottom with beautiful plants ready for sale. But until we get to the point when everything is ready for sale, we got a lot of work to do. Since the weather has not been nice, we've been hanging out here in the farm market. Callie has been eating her teacup. What are you doing? Okay, so with Callie eating her teacup, yeah, we've just been working in here. Hasn't been too much going on. Hasn't been too busy. This is one of my favorite times of the day where it's not busy, but the whole family's here and we're all talking and having fun. We're talking about what we want for dinner. It's exciting times. We'll be figuring it out shortly. Ooh-wee. We're now at the point in the day where it's time to start closing up and putting things away. There's babies flying through the air. It's been a good one. Watch out, watch out, watch out! Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way! Out of the way, Callie. You're good, keep coming. It takes a little longer to put everything away when Callie's running around in here, but it's a lot more fun that way. Before I go up to the house, I had to shut the big door. We left it open. What did you think of what everyone said about your curtains?
Thank you so much, everybody.
Now that I'm in the house and there is no dinner on the table, that means it's date night. That also means this is where we're gonna end the video today. I would like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.